We're live. Thanks, everybody. I keep forgetting to do that. My apologies to Mandy, my very, very, very patient videographer who has been dealing with me starting panels without her telling me we were live. So my apologies again, Mandy. Michael, have a seat, please. So as I was saying, for me, the baby boomers, the owners, the people out in the industry who have been collectively saying that this is the way we do things around here, and we just want to, get profitable enough to sell before we get out, or just pass it to the kids and it's their problem, and I don't want to deal with this technology and all that stuff. Well, guess what? Those kids who are business owners, who are in their 40s, they could be even in their 50s, they could be in their 30s. Some of these decision makers are in their 20s. There are some decision makers in their 20s managing multi-million-dollar budgets in these booths behind us. And certainly, as I've been touring the advertising agencies and the brands with my project Peacock, I am finding 20-year-olds in managing $60 million print accounts who, by the way, also think when I was talking about presses and paper, they thought I was referring to the copy machine in the hallway and the paper that they get at a local, let's say, office store. Dead serious on this. Worldwide advertising agencies. So it's up to us to kind of, the industry and the printers, to, I don't want to say, what I'm going to say is it's up to you to connect your customers emotionally to your products and services, to what you offer and what the ability that it is that you can do with them. So, okay, maybe I should have the right panel questions. That would help. X marks the spot. Rise of the next generation print shops has a dual meaning here. The new owners and also how print shops should be looking now for their future. Not just dealing with what I need to deal with today. It's already too late for that. So let me just start off with the question I've been asking everybody, because this show is supposed to be the Grow Your Business show, which I hope everyone's business has grown in some way, or your knowledge has since you've been here. Pat McGrew, Key Point Intelligence. Who are you? What do you do? And how are you helping your customers make money?
So I'm Pat McGrew. I am with Key Point Intelligence. I'm the Director of Production Workflow. So my job at Key Point Intelligence, which is a market research consulting company, is to do two things. One, to provide the industry with information about the industry so that people like my friend Adrian and all my friends on the panel can make good decisions about how to place their products and add features and increase the value of their products in the marketplace. But the other part of my job is to help print service providers take a hard look at the way printing is occurring in their shop, the way the products that they create are created, and by doing audits of their workflow to help them identify whether they're being the most efficient printer that they can possibly be. And then also just trying to find the cool things to write about to help generally educate the industry, write about Internet of Things and Industry 4.0, and get that into the talk track, because not everybody reads the trade papers every day.
Thank you so much. Adrian, Print IQ.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Adrian Fleming. I'm the Sales Director for Print IQ, the world's first management workflow solution rather than management information system. Our tagline is innovate, integrate and automate. In the innovation space, we're doing things that kind of sound like they should make sense, but it seems to be quite lacking out there. Things like being able to mix the kind of work that you're producing in one quote or one estimate. In the integration space, we're looking at integrating, or we do integrate, with many products out there, including my friend to my left here from Chili Publish, but upstream into web-to-print systems, downstream into production workflow systems. And automation is all about removing the cost and the exercises around some of the less value-adding exercises that print businesses do, and allowing you to focus your resources in on the things that really add value and add profit to the business.
Thanks so much. Kevin. Gumina.
Kevin Gumina from Chili
Gumina.
Publish. Chili Publish has a product called Chili Publisher, obviously, and what we do is we focus on creating a technology that would enable you as a modern or forward-thinking print shop to basically execute some of your wildest dreams. And one of those dreams could be tying it into an MIS solution, but there's so much more to do. Could be. Sorry, I know you just said it's not MIS, but I forgot the other word. Anyway. Yeah, you were gonna have to work on that. So basically, that's what we do. We give this technology and we allow our customers and partners to develop solutions that make sense for their business and for their customers.
Thanks so much. Michael? And I'm not next to you, so make sure you speak into the microphone.
Yes. Yes, Presswise is a print MIS system. What we're trying to do is help our customers figure out what they can put in for cost for anything they're doing, whether it's their press setup, whether it's their finishing tasks, so that we can then figure out, what their markup might be, so they can kind of really get an idea. Are they making money or not? I can't begin to tell you how many people, when, our space is more like the 5 employee to 25 employee type company, and a lot of them using spreadsheets with a guy named Joe, who really doesn't really quite, he's never really explained anything to anyone else. So the poor CFO is going, I just don't know, should we continue doing this or not, right? Should we stop coding things? So that's really what we're about. It's all about figuring out what your costs are, what your price is going to be.
Thanks so much. Sean, who are you? What do you do? And how are you helping customers make money, darling?
Okay, my name's Sean Stanley, and I'm the Global Sales Director for Motion Cutter. We are essentially a printing company who's made their own machine out of necessity and need. We got to the point where our margins were pushed so much on our offset, we went to digital, and then when we went from digital, we saw that every sheet was about how much it cost, that we went and looked how we could make more money. And that was in finishing. It was the way that we could speed up our finishing, but also, most importantly, make new products. So we invented our own high-speed laser system. People saw it and they said, you're not burning things and it's super cool, the things you're making, can I buy one? So we became manufacturers. And so over the last few years, we've become the industry's leading sheet-fed laser system. So we're making money for our customers, or they are making money with our machinery, because one, it's super quick. They're able to run a maximum of 8,000 sheets per hour through a laser, which is able to do cutting, perforating, half cutting, kiss cutting, engraving all in one pass. They're able to offer whole new products, variable data products, so every sheet can be completely different, which opens up a whole new market. Everyone has been doing variable data printing. Now we've got variable data cutting and finishing. It's automated. You can put a stack of paper on one end.
Can you guys hear him back there? You okay? Okay.
You can put a stack of paper on one end and then just set it running, walk away and come back at the end and it's all cut and finished. And also the workflow, the fact that you've got hot folders that you can throw everything into and run one job straight after the next, exactly the same as you do with digital printing, means that finishing now is as easy and as fast as digital presses are to run.
Thanks so much, and I'm glad that this question follows what you just said, because your machine is kind of like a one-stop finishing situation. And now I want to talk about the I said before that sort of after 8 years, I've kind of earned an opinion in this, and my opinion is that printers must become one-stop print shops, and that's because as a print customer, it's just too complicated to have to get something from one person and make sure it works with another person, and or being tied to one printer's specific partners, and I can't get what I need unless I change my whole system. Eventually, I'm going to find that one place that has it all, and that is where I'm going to put my flag, and that is where I'm going to send everything. So with that in mind, I want to talk about preparing for that moment when everything needs to kind of come together. So what does the next, and however this applies to you, what does the next generation print shop look like? And how are you helping customers, prospects, prepare for that? You want to start, Sean?
Okay. In my crystal ball,
Yes.
I do see that there will be a lot more one-stop print shops, but I don't see them all as being individual printers themselves, each individual factory doing everything. I see more alliances of printers.
Yeah, a network.
A complete network. I see them joining together to be able to specialize in what they do. So if some person's got digital and another person's got offset, we all, as printers, need digital and offset. There's a time for everything. So but do you need all of the machinery? In the finishing as well, yes, our machine can do an awful lot of the finishing, but there's certain things that even my fantastic laser can't do. I can't cut PVC because it lets off chlorine. So you're going to need a flat bed or a die cutter to do that. So do you invest in all of the machinery? I don't think so. I think it's much better to make alliances with other printers for the things that you're unable to do, because you never want to turn a customer away. So I see it more going that way than super printers. I don't believe that companies will come and go, but I think that the clever ones are the ones that are ensuring that they have everything that they can offer.
Yeah, and I'm definitely a strong believer in partnerships. I mean, that's what the Printiverse is. Everybody's here collectively bringing their own expertise to one bigger picture. And one of the comments that came up during the panels was that one of the vendors now has a global network because of their social media, because of Print Check, quite frankly. And that is a trend. I mean, they are able to help their customers. So when someone says to you at your company, why do we need a social media? Why do we need a Twitter account? Because it enables you to help your customers, quite frankly. Michael, what is the next generation print shop look like, and how are you helping customers prepare for their future?
You know, I like the concept of the one-stop printing, mainly because here you are, you're going to deal with one person, right? And that one person isn't a person anymore, is it? It's a website. You know, the future is so much involved with enabling me, who have 2 sons getting married this year, that we had to do the wedding invitations, we had to do the labels. I work for a software developer as a printer, but it was just way too much work.
Right, it's ridiculous.
So yeah, I think the future is, it is kind of like the Vistaprint, but everybody gets to be a Vistaprint. Everybody has their storefront. Everybody is, you know, your trusted partner, and I'm going to do business with you. I think that's it.
I love it. I'm in. Kevin, can't wait to hear your answer for this.
I like the idea of the alliance, actually. I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, if I just look at the product that we do, I understand it's not that easy for a very small shop to implement and get it all right, and there's a lot of stuff involved with it. And there's probably not just our software that you want to offer, there's probably a bunch of software that you need to offer, and it all requires a lot of effort and investment. So those alliances I like. The next thing that I think a print shop should become is an experience center. Look at what Amazon just did with buying, a retailer. I mean, they bought stores, and the reason why they want to do that is they want to still give you an experience that you can't have online. I mean, if I look at around me, wedding invitations and stuff like that, people want to get back to premium products, like retro stuff, things from the old days that people aren't doing anymore, but have become quite expensive. And I think, yes, there is a lot of solutions. I mean, we obviously do 3D stuff and 3D visualization and so on. But there is, for example, sometimes you go into these hotels and you have cards and they have a perfume on them and stuff like that. These are the kind of things that I think you can offer as an experience. And a lot of Vistaprint kind of online printers in Europe are doing that. They're opening physical stores for you to go in and and experience that.
Thanks so much. Adrian?
probably not adding a lot new from the comments from down my left on the table. In similar ways that the world's biggest accommodation company doesn't actually own hotels, and in the same way that the world's biggest automobile transport company doesn't actually own any cars, that whole alliance association piece, I think I agree, becomes very, very important. But I think what will enable the consumer to use those companies will be how easy are they to do business with. What are the systems and the processes and the people that they have in place to enable someone to place that order and to receive the product on time. Things like quality, etc. will become a given, but it'll be about how is it to work with that business.
And I just want to tell you a story because you just reminded me. Recently, I bought some print, right? I did it for 25 years professionally, should not be a difficult process, right? I tell the printer, I want to pay by credit card, which should make every printer say, thank God, somebody wants to pay me for my work right then. They said, we don't know if that's going to be possible. I said, what? I said, you have to take credit card payments. Okay, we'll look into it. They sent me a credit form. They wanted to check my credit. I'm like, why are you checking my credit? I don't want credit. I will come and give you cash. I don't want to deal with you. I don't want a PO. I want to just pay you and be away. It took me 2 weeks to pay these people up front. If you're going to make it that difficult for somebody who knows what they're doing, that is why Vistaprint is actually Vistaprint. Their marketing is, we're not scary. We're easy. You can do it in your house. You don't need to know anything. All you have to do is push a button, and the printers have to get there. So that's a fantastic point. Make it easy, simple, idiot-proof for someone to buy from you. Pat?
So the operation of the print shop of the future ought to be runnable from this thing right here. And it ought to be easy enough for a print shop owner to take a credit card payment or PayPal or
anything.
Whatever other electronic, tap to pay for that matter. It has, the characteristic of the print shop of the future is that it's going to have a solid gold workflow where getting the order in and getting it spec'd and making sure that you get a great price on the kind of substrate you want to print on and maybe even which device you want to print on is all easy for an expert like you to know, but also easy for somebody like me to know and easy for a business owner to know. And it's going to be very, very automated so that fewer things can go wrong and it's going to get the work out the door. But the print shop of the future that operates that way is going to happen both in the next 24 hours and in the next 24 years because it's going to take a while.
Sean, did you want to add something?
Yeah, as a printer, and from my experience of dealing with customers, you can't have everything that's an online, it's this size, it's this way. You need to also have some way of interfacing with the creatives that want something which isn't in that box and something which you can't just put online. You know, we found that with doing variable data cutouts. It's very difficult to be able to show how to do that online or because it's unique designs. And that's where the difficulty comes, and that's where good salespeople, good customer service, and great relationships with your designers comes in. So, yes, we have great software people here and great software that's there, but at the end of the day, if you're not talking to your customers and being open to what they want to do, away from standardized pieces, that's where the true creativity comes from, and that's where the truly outstanding products come from.
I swear, I know you don't have the questions, but it's almost like you do because everything you're saying is a perfect segue for my next question. And which is, now that we need to talk to different people because there's different things to talk about, some of the messaging that we're sending out has to change. It has to adopt. So with not targeting those baby boomer quote unquote check writers that walk. There are no check writers anymore. That it's a collective. It's a brain hive. So, how are you adapting your own messaging to attract these new owners, these new people in power positions, open to these new conversations and being able to influence the older people in their company who still aren't, convinced that there's a new way of doing things? And what are the types of conversations you want to have? Sean?
I usually start with the conversation that I least want to have, and that's about money. If we can first of all show them that they're saving money, then it gets filtered upstairs, to the top decision makers immediately. Where I'd like to start with is the creativity. I'd like to start with the applications and the products and the cool things that you can use our equipment for. And but at the end of the day, it's always about the money, and it's then having to work with them to show them first of all how they're going to get an ROI on any investment that they're going to make. Luckily, we're able to do that with their current die cutting. We're able to do that with what the products that they're currently doing. But the conversation I want to start with is look at these cool things. Look at the value of them just as beautiful things to start with, and look at the value that they're going to be to your customers. If they get that part, then the money part isn't so much of a worry about the investment, but that's always the key thing to how it goes upstairs.
And if you've noticed, I'm asking everyone the first question is, how are you helping customers make money? Because I agree with the strategy. If you're out there and you see a technology here and you're an influencer in your company, the first thing you should do is say, there's something really cool, but first let me tell you how we can make money from it. Then once you get those check writers, we can make money from it, now I'm interested in what it can do. So it's a great strategy. Michael?
Yes, it's interesting when people walk in the booth. I tend to ask, what's brought you to here, and often it's like, well, I have a customer who has a storefront that, like they're Toyota. There's some company who wants to do business with me, but I don't have a way to connect their thing to my production system. So yeah, I think I find more and more often the person who came into my booth 2 years ago he didn't even know how to spell XML or API. Now they're asking me about my API. It's almost amazing in just 2 years how quickly that is. And that's really, I think, the thing that printers need to do is, begin to embrace that.
Kevin?
Well, because it's print shops, I think a lot of print shops should have a look around and see what kind of companies are around and what kind of products make sense offering, because sometimes you feel that they're a little bit disconnected because they try to be local. I guess that's the reason why there was a print shop initially set up. And then indeed, often, it's misunderstood by a lot of people in the industry that solutions like ours or software in general costs just money. You have to understand that there are several ways of either increasing revenue, increasing the margin, increasing efficiency, but also bringing value to your customer and basically make the customer a winner within his company, because all of a sudden it's easier. He doesn't have to send 5 emails asking you to change this word. And he becomes a winner and an enabler also inside the company. So that's the kind of conversations I think you should be having if you don't have them already.
Thanks so much. Adrian?
I'd say the biggest change I've noticed would be a few years ago in the software space that we're in. There seemed to be a large acceptance in a piece of software that was written from a functionality or manufacturing standpoint first and a usability standpoint very much second. It could be as the ugliest thing in the world and very tough to know, but boy, did it get you your estimate out the door. Whereas today, usability is a much higher priority. Not compromising functionality, but having usability as a much more forward part of the conversation. The conversations I think we would like to be having that don't always occur is getting a view of where where the business we're talking to would like to see themselves. And that's something that generally takes some trust in working with someone, that they can share that information with you, because quite often that's their IP, that's what's going to get them to be the more profitable business.
Thanks so much. Pat?
So I have the other side of the story, though, because very often if I'm sitting with a printer, it's because they've made the decision that something has to change. Something's not right. We're not as efficient as we should be. We don't maybe have the right equipment mix. We don't have the right staff mix. We don't have the right marketing mix. So I have the fun job. You guys have to figure out how to sell them something. If they've gotten me on board, they've already decided there's a problem and they're ready to spend some money. But the challenge in my job is that I have to give them good advice, and I have to dispassionately but nicely tell them the good things about their print shop and the not so good things about their print shop, and help guide them to the right solutions that are going to make them more efficient and put them in a position where they're actually going to be able to make the money that we want to see them all make, so they'll continue to make investments.
Okay, so I want to go a little, I mean, we've got some smart people here. It's not really, we don't really do products and services so much. I want to take this conversation like next level. Let's go galaxy level. So Amazon's one-click patent expired on Tuesday. And that technology is now available for everybody on the planet. Now, you can still license it from Amazon, as I believe, or you can take it and adjust it, manipulate it to whatever you want. That basically means that everybody on this planet has the ability to become Amazon. Why do you, I stick stuff in there, I push one button, it comes to my house. There's nothing more simple. So how is this shopping cart, one-stop e-commerce thing an opportunity for printers? And how important is e-commerce for the future of print and printers and print shops and everything? Kevin, you want to go first? You were so excited. You're like, oh, me. Yes.
I think there's an opportunity for print shops to partner with other stuff that needs to be delivered. Why not become a delivery center of, I don't know, some kind of retailer or...
Oh my God, that is brilliant.
Yes, and...
I'm stealing it, you see, every year.
Okay, that was it.
No, keep going.
I think there's a lot of opportunities there. Make sure that there's foot traffic coming and that there is some compelling reason to do it at your store. And if you could do that, a lot of these online retailers and a lot of these online people are looking for places, and why not offer them for free? Just say, hey, deliver it here. I have a good location. I'm next to a highway. I'm next to a big shopping mall. Whatever where I'm located, and use your physical real estate.
Thanks so much. Pat?
So I've spent a lot of time in post and parcel conferences. They are not nearly as sexy as print industry events, but they are out there, and it's the means of commerce, right? Getting things from one place to another. And I absolutely agree. I think partnering so that you can become a hub or a center is a really great idea. And there's technology out there that you could put in your print shop that could even make it secure, so that the different retailers could deliver to a secure location and you open it with your phone. All those things are fabulous. The other thing to think about, if you are currently operating a print environment, a lot of printers don't even put a storefront sign out anymore. They do everything on the web. And as fabulous as one click is, and one click is really good, you need frontage. You need to be visible in your community, and you should be active in your community so that they know where to go to get print. One of the things, we own a restaurant, and so we buy print, right? We buy menus and display graphics and everything else. And when we first bought the restaurant, that wasn't an area that we were really familiar with, and we relied on the community to tell us where to go buy menus that would be waterproof. We relied on the community to tell us where to buy display graphics that had good graphic quality, good light fastness, and were easy to put up. We relied on the community of vendors, and the print community is a really amazing group of people, so they'll tell you. The other thing that I think that with that one-click patent expiring, you need to start thinking about is putting that one-click button on your website and making it easy to reorder. Somebody orders something from you through web to print, whether they're a corporate customer or a consumer customer. Every time you send them an email, a confirmation email, every time you send them a marketing piece, there ought to be a one-click in there that says, you want to reorder that? It's kind of like, do you want fries with that? Do you want to reorder that? I work with a company, I buy from a company in Florida that does logo apparel, and they have something very similar to that, so that next time I need another batch of t-shirts or hats or whatever, I just go, sing. I don't even think twice about it.
Adrian?
So I guess the key to all of those things, though, is going to be having your systems in place to be able to back it up and make the experience work. The risk, I guess, you run if you aren't that easy to work with is that by removing all of the touch points, you end up commoditizing completely what it is that you're selling, and potentially that leaves only one lever left to pull, which is price. I also agree with the comments from earlier about that's great for, I guess, sausage factory style work, but the more bespoke or the more customized or the more boutique the services you're offering, the more you need to have the humans involved and less about the one-click delivery button.
I mean, I don't know. I have to say that as long as I have you've established in my system as a vendor, and I can you can send me an invoice, I can review it, push one click and pay. We can get rid of those accounting departments in a lot of. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. I mean, as you know, whatever. There are some annoying people who chase you for POs and stuff in marketing corporations and advertising agencies.
A big shout out to the accountants from Deborah, by the way.
Funny. Anyone else? Sean, please.
I agree completely about the one-click button for payment.
Thank you, everybody.
That's the idea of choosing a product by one click. I find quite abhorrent.
No,
I love beautiful print, and I understand there is a need for template-driven business cards and postcards and things like this that people can easily add their names and addresses and things to. But I feel then we're losing a little bit of the creativity that we are as an industry then, that the things that we're able to make that are really cool, outstanding products that are moving forward, adding definition, touch, feel, these sort of things that you can't get online. If you've never felt soft touch, you're never going to order it. You need to be able to touch and feel these things. And I agree with gentleman from Chile. We need to have storefronts still. People need to come in and be able to see what we're doing. So, I mean, real stores, real places, meet real people at the same time. But also from a production point of view. Again, being able to click something and have it go out, the setups for these things, the different templates and things as well with the customization, how are they going to do it? For me, on the finishing side, I think the only way you can do it would be with a laser, because you're wanting to change over instantly. You know, with a 5-second, 5-button changeover from one cutting file to another, it's the only way that I can see that quick, immediate, same day, because with dies, you've either got your half-an-hour changeover, if you've got the die, or you're waiting 2 or 3 days to get the die. So yes, being able to pay for it with one button is great, but I also want it today as well delivered to me.
Right. You good? I want to ask you a specific question, Pat. We have 10 minutes left, so hopefully you can give me a Pat McGrew speed answer, and then I can give an answer to everybody else. But I would be remiss not to take advantage of you sitting here. You work for Keypoint Intelligence / InfoTrends. It's the premier research entity of the print industry, and you are a production workflow expert. So with that being said, it would be crazy for me not to ask you a question. Which markets are critical for printers to serve in the next 10 years? And is there a basic workflow foundation they can lay now that will grow with them?
Packaging, wide format, commercial print, transaction, soft signage, hard signage, and decor printing, garment printing. Leave any out? I mean, printing of all types is constantly growing. The things that you can print upon it's constantly expanding. The ability to create custom versions of the things you can print upon, constantly expanding. So the technology is just going to keep getting better. Densities will get better. The resolutions will get better. That's just going to keep on getting better. So what do you need to support that? If I'm a commercial printer, I got to decide what I'm doing for a living. Do I, am I a commercial printer who only prints on paper flat stuff? Or am I a commercial printer who also wants to do 3D and pillows and cups and mugs? You got to decide what you're going to be, and then you've got to leave that little door open so that you can expand over time. So once you've decided what you want to be, you want to take a look at the software that you have. How many touch points to bring a job inside your four walls? How hard is it to bring a job on board to the point where your production team can actually do the job? If you don't have one solid system capturing all your data and getting it into your accounting or software or your accounting system and making it easy for your CSRs and your production people to get the job through, fix that first, and then fix your, what are we calling it? If we're not calling it PrintMIS, we're calling it
Management workflow systems.
Thank you. Fix your management workflow system. I like that better than PrintMIS. And if you don't have one, look at one. If you have one, figure out if you're using it. And if you're not using it, figure out why, and if you need to replace it. Invest a little. And then just stand back and enjoy the profits.
Thank you so much, Pat. So this is the last question. At the end of it, if you could let people know how they can get in touch with you after the show. Since we're talking about the next generation, we're talking about the future, I want to give the people a glimpse of how you guys are preparing for the future so they know that they're investing in a company that is looking forward. So how is your company preparing for the next 10 years? Where are you investing and why? And Pat, for you, you can say where is InfoTrends focusing or KeyPoint on the future. Sean, you want to start? We'll come down.
Yeah, okay. So laser technology isn't a brand new thing, but laser technology in print has really only been around for 6 or 7 years. It's developing very fast. So as a company, what we've done is we've made sure that our machinery that we build is future-proof, as in the fact that you can upgrade the machine as that technology grows. Every printer's worst fear is buying something and then the next year it being completely out of date. The next model comes along, which is faster, better, stronger. So we are ensuring that our core model is always the same. We may upgrade a laser head, but then the laser head can be upgraded on your machine as well. I think that's really, really important as technology moves so fast. When people are investing an awful lot of money, that they don't want to have yesterday's machine tomorrow. And we are ensuring through all of our R&D that every single thing we do stays with the machine and can grow with the machinery.
And they also don't want to buy a new charger every time a phone comes out and a new, all that other stuff. So I appreciate and I applaud the upgraders of the world. I think, you know, whatever. The other people, I don't like when you have to keep buying new stuff. I like upgrades. Michael?
Yes, you know, it's interesting, and I'm sure Pat remembers that Presswise was just an imposition application. And what's comical now that it becomes the imposition application, it's a mailer, it's a imposer, a connection for your gateway, for your credit cards. It's an address verification system. It just, all of a sudden, this year, everybody's saying, oh, I have Salesforce. Can I have my Salesforce connect to Presswise? It's like everybody gets the whole thing about, yeah, I'm in the middle. I'm not at the end. I'm not at the beginning of it. It's this whole thing has to connect either through XML or APIs.
And I'm sorry, Michael, how can people get in touch?
Well, they can touch me on my forehead right here. No.
Do it. He's very
Yeah.
soft. And
Yeah,
he always
just
smells good, too.
Presswise.com. Thanks.
Thank you. Wasn't there one show I told people to go and smell you? You smelled really good. On a tweet to go and smell Michael, and he had a little bit of a crowd, so.
For Chile, obviously, it's the R&D. Since I think it's about 7 years now, we're investing heavily in our engineering and R&D. I mean, I would say that any profit goes back to in R&D. It's also the largest team within our company. And what's really important, and this might be a little bit technical, is like, when we look in our space, producing a press quality PDF is still a tough job. I mean, it becomes a commodity because everybody's like, oh, a PDF. I mean, I know a PDF, my invoice. But when you want to do it right on a high-end level, it's really difficult. And for years, we've developed our own technology, which is independent from what the browsers are doing. And today, if you're relying on a browser to do an interpretation and you want to still go to press afterwards using a workflow or whatever, there's going to be some nasty surprises. And you don't want a big customer coming in and saying, oh, I'm going to order online 100,000 pieces. And then it seems that there was a return that wasn't visualized on the screen, but it's actually going to be in a PDF. So I think that's really what we do. And also what we do is in our business model, we don't do the options. I mean, it's very clear. As long as you're a pod and you pay your maintenance fees, you get all the upgrades. I don't like it. I was going to say hate. I don't like it when software is like by version numbers and you have to pay for the next version. We stay very far away from that. We try to give our customers new updates every 3 to 6 weeks, and we keep that going really strong, and I think that's important so that you can follow the trends, and that's what we want to do. We want to make it possible for you to follow those trends.
And how can people get in touch?
Well, online. So go to our Twitter account, engage with us there. Go on our website, chili-publish.com, and follow one of our webinars. Or I would invite you, if you ever see, we do a lot of seminars worldwide, so where we actually sit down and have a physical event. If it's ever around your neighborhood or wherever you live, then I would definitely invite you to come and talk to us.
Thanks so much, and I'll see you next week in Belgium at Label Expo. Yay. Okay, Adrian.
So similar to Kevin, our largest spend for the future is in the R&D space. But we always try to take the approach that we don't necessarily know what we're talking about. We would rather get the feedback from our existing customers and our new potential customers as to the way things might work in the real world rather than trying to do it in our isolationist view, but then applying over the top of that, pulling out of the information we get the trends that we're hearing. We're hearing this from a large part of the segment that things should work this way, or have you thought about integrating with this particular product, or have you thought about adding this functionality? And then once we can skim out of all of the feedback we get, it then helps us build an R&D plan that's more aligned with what our customers want rather than what we necessarily think should be in a product. Obviously, being in North America for a relatively short period of time, the other area where we're spending is to bolstering our presence over here. On that note, you can get in contact with us here at the show at booth 457, or you can go to our website, printiq.com, or you can call our Santa Monica office.
Oh, Santa Monica office. I like that.
Or you could tweet to IQ Australia, which will soon be at PrintIQ, hopefully.
Awesome. Pat McGrew.
Which would be cool. So, Keypoint Intelligence, we cover pretty much everything in the printing industry. I think many people are familiar. For years, Jim Hamilton did videos of all the really cool things he would find at print shows. Jim just recently retired.
Shout out to Jim.
Shout out to Jim. We love Jim. What we're covering now, we're expanding. We were known for covering commercial printing, digital printing hardware, DFEs, digital print workflow management systems, conventional workflow management systems, transactional workflow management systems, customer communication. Recently, though, we've taken a few steps back and realized that it makes sense for us to dedicate team members to wide format printing, to dedicate team members to packaging printing. We're also dedicating team members to textile printing and decor and functional printing. So over the next few years, we'll be building up a much larger body of research in those areas that'll be accessible to our customers, our clients and subscribers. And because of all that movement in the workflow space, we've had to change too. So we used to cover commercial workflow and transactional workflow, but now we're diving deep into the wide format workflow requirements, the packaging workflow requirements, the requirements for direct-to-garment printing, and direct to non-traditional substrates, so ceramics, pillows, your shirt, all of these things. So it's an expanding service. You can reach me at @PatMcGrew on Twitter. There all the time. I'm also out on LinkedIn. Keypoint Intelligence, keypointintelligence.com is the web address. If you remember the old Infotrends address, that one still works, so infotrends.com will get you over into the Keypoint Intelligence world. And you can always find me at pat.mcgrew at keypointintelligence.com.
Thank you guys so much. I thought this was a really enlightening conversation. As always, I learned something from everybody in the Printiverse. We're going to be back in 10 minutes or so with a Printiverse wrap-up. It's just going to be me talking to a couple of people, about the show and, some thoughts for the people at home. But I just want to thank all of you. I mean, the camera's probably not picking it up, but there's some people in here. I mean, I'm sure there's more people in here than a lot of places. So I do want to thank you all, especially a bunch of you have been sitting here all morning listening to these conversations. Without you guys, they wouldn't give me a space. So thank you so much. And without this space, we couldn't have these conversations. So to answer my own question, I'm investing in all of you is what I'm doing. So thank you for the return on the investment, people, because when you keep coming to listen to education, we can get better conversations going. So thank you so much. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Thank you, panel. Thank you for everything.